Maybe we should just talk about Phoebe Bridgers' lyrics.
Perfect.
We could definitely fill a show with that.
Yeah.
I'm Trey.
My name is Leo.
And we're in a band called Finnish Postcard.
We are about to build some Legos. I can't really think of anything to build right now that isn't abstract. I might build like a gun. Like a gun that you could hold.
Yeah. I want to do some sort of like spaceship thing. We'll see how it goes. There's also like weird yellow stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
It's like a fence or like a gate or something.
Let's see how this goes.
Take notes, read minds, don't land. The highway blows the myth back on your face. Morgan tattooed her hands. That stuff never stays. That one is from a song called Highway, which was one of the first 2 songs we put out. A lot of my favorite lyrics I've written in a while were from that song. It's kind of like a song about being in the immediate aftermath of the end of a long relationship and feeling like I was reclaiming like some sort of relationship with LA beyond the kind of way I understood it through my ex-partner. That first line is take notes, read minds, don't land, which is kind of a summation of feeling on edge or like feeling like I had to be really good or really perfect in a relationship to allow myself to be worthy or to be like someone who was a good partner. Had to be perfect. I wrote it in Trey's room, which is on the 5th floor of like a warehouse space overlooking the highway. And I was watching all the cars go by, and kind of like the bird's eye view meaning of that line is that the highways in LA are like big energy flows that are taking people around all the time. And you look out and there's people in the cars and they're all going somewhere to have significant experiences. So the highways are like the thing that allows people to travel around LA and live life. So life is happening, flowing along the highway. So the highway blows the myth back on your face. It's kind of like feeling like I had maybe mythologized Los Angeles a little bit. I love LA. I was like, oh, I have to have a relationship with this city that's my own and wasn't given to me, wasn't shown to me by someone else. And then the second half of that verse is Morgan tattooed her hands. That stuff never stays, which is, I just was hanging out with my friend Morgan and she was talking about how she wants to get tattoos on her hands. It was just a comment on permanence. Hand tattoos are visible and they'll be around forever if you get them. I was experiencing a lot of non-permanence in my life, a lot of impermanence. Things that I thought were permanent were changing around me. I totally forgot I was even building Legos during that monologue.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I'm kind of like, this is starting to take shape. I grew up making Star Wars Legos a lot of spaceships. And I just feel like the peak experience of just impromptu Lego making is making a good spaceship, you know? This is more of a little fighter, kind of a fighter jet type thing. And hopefully this will feel like, you know, agile. Walk under sheets, don't belong to me, but smell like something sweet that I could learn to trust. That's from a song called Monuments off of our second release, a double single called Monuments Leaving Home. That song is kind of about this feeling of just entering a new relationship and how it's kind of weird because you're like, you know, maybe you're in somebody else's bed, you're waking up in somebody else's bed. The way that their room smells is still kind of foreign to you and it doesn't really quite like smell like home yet, but you're like, maybe it could. So that's like kind of a sense memory that informed that part of the song, which is like the whole song is kind of about relationships feeling strange and like getting out of a long one and being like, could I really go through that again? Could I really be in somebody's bed and be like, this isn't my person yet, will they be my person, you know? Yeah. It's called Monuments, and it's about basically approaching this idea of, will I live my life in the fullest way? Will I become some sort of monument to something good? And it's like these kind of like questions that you grapple with when you're like trying to fall asleep and stuff. And after just getting out of this big relationship, when I was writing the song, I was just like, am I gonna do that? Like, am I gonna live my life in a way that's like...
Sorry guys.
Am I gonna live my life in a way that's like, you know, big and magnificent and like, I just don't feel ready for that. That's kind of what the whole song is about. And that line that I was talking about, that's the first line of the song. It's kind of emblematic of what it would look like to approach your life in a serious way. You know, starting new things, allowing things to be new and become part of you. I love this.
This is just like a guy. He kind of has like a hat on. It's like maybe a dunce cap, wide hips here, you see? And I feel like he's feeling good. Maybe not. His legs are
He's
feeble.
feeling good.
His legs are feeble.
He has these little like pieces that kind of go out right here.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it look like he's wearing like town fool pants.
Yeah, he might be like a jester of some sort.
Yeah, he's got the hat.
Yeah.
He's kind of like an ice jester. He's doing kind of a funny pose for the king.
We met at a art opening for a mutual friend. Trey was playing a solo set there that was just him with guitar, bass, and computer, just like looping music and improvising for like 3 hours. I just sat and watched him play for a long time. Just approached him afterwards and I was like, you seem really cool. You seem like the type of musician I want to hang out with. I invited him on my radio show to do a guest DJ set. And that was my way of ensnaring him into being my friend. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we hit the ground running. I think we're just both really excited with each other's artistry.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that we also had so many experiences of trying to be in bands where it's like things don't work out for one reason or another. And we both really wanted to do music and we were kind of in these solo projects of our own because we were like, we just kind of had to, because those are the only projects that kept going in our lives. And we were like, really liked each other's music, really liked working together, found this like kind of rare creative partnership with each other. And we were like, let's do it. Let's become a band. And I was just looking at some old texts actually, and
No way.
yeah, it was January 2022 that we like had a band name and decided to
No way.
be a band. Yeah, and here we are. We live together now at the Brewery Art Colony in just outside of downtown LA, and just work on music all the time.
You were just talking about monuments, and that got me thinking about how much of the early music in this band, and still, it was really built around change and like this being unstable. Like we were both relationships ending, moving, quitting jobs, getting new jobs, feeling really untethered to like our old lives.
So yeah, we're both, the lead singer, and we're both the lead writer. It's a total 50-50 project, but that doesn't necessarily mean that 50% of every song is one of us. It's a super dynamic process where sometimes we're just sitting across from each other with guitars and we're like, oh, follow that, like, oh, that's cool, what if it was like this? And we're actually building a song together from the ground up. Sometimes one of us comes in with a full song, sometimes one of us comes in with a song that's at 50%, but whatever happens, it's like both of our thumbprints are all over the finished product.
Writing a song sitting across from each other is crazy to me because that's not something I could ever do with anybody. I always feel too guarded, or like territorial or something.
It's really, really hard for me, especially, to find any like actual collaborators. It's such a specific thing, and you can't really make it work. It just kind of has to work, I think. And so yeah, I mean, we've only at this point we've only known each other for a little over a year, and just kind of worked right away.
Yeah. Next lyric is, couple weeks till our turn, everybody bores me but Trey and Ash. No commencement flowers, no commencement trash. The first line is remembering the start of our relationship with my ex-partner and being like her taking time before we like started dating to like center, and remember feeling like those weeks where we were not together were like physically like painful, like it was like a physical pain. And then the next line is I'd never used a first name in a song before this song, so I wanted to. So I mean that line is pretty self-explanatory. Everybody bores me but Trey and Ash. Trey, it's right here. Ash is the other person in the song, and I was feeling kind of jaded and bored of people, and like I feel like I wasn't able to relate or connect with people the way I wanted to outside of a really small group of people. And so I guess that line is just about feeling like one of those people is now gone, and feeling like a weird emptiness because of it. And then the second half is no commencement flowers, no commencement trash. I I went to watch her graduate college when we had broken up, and I remember walking through the UCLA campus, and there's all this stuff happening around me. There was literally thousands of people graduating. It was so bustling and alive, and there was a sign that said commencement flowers for sale. And it really struck me because I used to buy her flowers all the time for no reason. And then I'm like going to watch her graduate, and I'm not bringing flowers. And that's like a really appropriate time to bring flowers, you know? So it's no commencement flowers and then no commencement trash, nothing to get rid of. Yeah, it's talking about just the weird hollow space left after the dissolution of that relationship. I built a little grill for this guy, working grill, kind of a spatula, simulation of a spatula. And I don't know, I'm building a lamp right now, but I don't really have the right pieces for it, so let's give him a little burger on the end of the spatula. Yeah.
This is very, speaks to the American experience, I think.
For sure.
The town fool
Yeah.
cooks for his family because he's a person too. It's not just here for your entertainment. I'm kind of working on my boosters. I think that these are like little guns to shoot kind of bad guys. And yeah, I think back here it's a little uneven, but these are this is what makes it go fast. Our name comes from, we're making music together for a couple months, and we're just like, we gotta have the conversation, which is difficult. And we've both named mini bands. And so you kind of, in my experience, you just kind of have to go with what's there. You have to speak to what you have to, write what you know, so to speak. And right next to my desk, there was this postcard from Finland that I had gotten a couple years back from Finland, and it just had a cool photo on it. It was of this dude getting out of a hot spring in the snow, butt naked. There's like a picture of this grown man from the behind. You can see his butt. And I was like, dude, what if we were called Finnish Postcard? And that was it.
It's a good name. I like the name. We were Finnish with one N for a while, like start and finish.
Yeah.
But then we changed to more the original meaning of it, like a postcard from Finland.
Yeah, I think we felt like it was too obvious or something, but it's like, That's the thing, is that stuff that feels obvious to you that's actually what you want to go for. Because the reason it feels obvious to you is because it's real. And if it feels clever, then it's probably just complicated for no reason.
Yeah, I added like a lamp right here. So it's like grill, lamp, guy. I don't know
great combo.
Where he is, that there's a grill and a lamp like right next to each other. But I guess that's not really the point of this.
It's a kind of cubist or impressionistic or something.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy's legs are not doing all that well.
We're so close over here with the fighter jet. It does travel in space, if you're wondering. It's mostly in space.
The best half-truth is the sunrise from the Lost Lake booth. This is from a song called Wind Song that is on the EP. The song kind of was born out of quarantine and feeling really trapped inside my life and my body and my lowered self-desires, feeling really entrenched in a bad place. And the literal meaning of the line is, I lived in Seattle for a year when I was 18, and there was a night that some people were in town and we were hanging out, and we took some drugs, stayed up all night. This night felt like such a journey through the night. And we remember this thing we kept mentioning was, we're like, wow, what is it gonna be like when the sun rises? Because the night just felt so long, and then we were walking through the campus of the college I went to, and the sun was kind of rising, but there was total cloud cover, so you couldn't see the sun at all. It was just kind of light out. We went to a diner, 24-hour diner called Lost Lake, and ate tater tots as the sun was it was getting more bright out. And yeah, it was just one of those lines that sticks with you for no real reason. But the real takeaway was that then we all went and crashed. When I woke up, my friends had left and they had to go. I saw that in my sketchbook, one of my friends had drawn this picture of the skyline in Seattle. Above it had written, "Turns out the sun doesn't rise, the sky just gets a lighter shade of gray." That line was in the song for a while, and it didn't end up making the final cut. It was a night that was really specific and important to me for some reason, And that's just like a really beautiful line that stuck with me.
Can't smell the wind, more dough than I came from, cold against the fridge, think it's rubbing off. So this is from Windsong, which is on a record we're recording right now. When I moved to LA a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years now, I just remember smelling the ocean everywhere. And my friends in LA who had grown up in LA didn't know what I was talking about when I would say that. And I was living in Santa Monica, so it's like you can really smell the ocean breeze if you're not from around there. This verse is kind of about this feeling of jealousy of people, specifically musicians who grew up in LA. Where I grew up in like, you know, a small town in Northern California called Red Bluff, which is a great place in a lot of ways, but you just aren't as connected to art and stuff when you grow up in rural America. Cold against the fridge, think it's rubbing off. It's like now I'm coming to LA and I'm trying to get close to the cool stuff. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to become cool or something, you know, that's like some subconscious thing. And I'm hoping that it's having some effect on me. This verse is really about like kind of some resentment about people who grew up in a cool place.
I am super excited about what's on the horizon. I feel like in terms of music, if I can keep writing stuff I'm stoked and surprised about, then that's it. And also I feel like a huge part of this band is the fact that I'm a huge fan of Trey's music. So I get to work really closely with it, and I get to get it delivered to people the way I hear it, which is super fun and super endlessly exciting.
Yeah, I think that's like the reason that it's like a perpetual motion machine, because I'm a huge fan of Leo's, and we're both like kind of producers, and we have produced our own music for a long time, and we kind of just get to produce each other's music in this kind of like Mobius strip, like endless weird thing. So that's the making music part of it is really exciting.
So I'll just walk you through. We got this guy, and he's got glowing eyes. He's got a spatula with a burger on it. Working grill that has a burger on it. This is like the back of the grill. Ooh. Like a George Foreman. Oh my god. Okay, over here we have a shrub with some like snow on the top of it and a Christmas light, and then a lamp on a little stand. This is this guy with all of his creature comforts.
Dude, I love this so much. What a fascinating look into your psyche.
Thanks, man.
He's got a lamp. I've tried to make a spaceship. And it can kind of turn really fast and go the other way if you gotta get out of trouble. So you see this kind of like advanced rocket booster setup, pretty aerodynamic.
Beautiful.
I have a niece who's a little over 1 year old who loves it when I like have objects and I'm like, she's like, oh my god. So
getting some practice.
This would be a good, yeah. She would dig this.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Yeah,